The app is designed really to submit three forms of information. The first is really information around what they catch through the FISH1 form that everybody in the fishing industry is familiar with. That's their catch information, a little bit of information about the vessel, and that needs to be submitted on a weekly basis. The app is also designed so that the fishermen, should they wish, be able to record their tracks, and that information is also recorded, and the fishermen can look at that information themselves, and it's also recorded on our server. The third piece of information is around really observations. What have you seen that might be of interest? Now, that might be, for example, protected or endangered or threatened species that you might happen to see, or invasive species, for example, any sort of observation. The app is designed to be able to collect that in a systematic way so that over time, hopefully we can build up a picture, an understanding of what might be happening around our coasts, and fishermen can be an active part in that process.
I signed up the trial of SIFIDS app because I thought it was a better way of logging our data and easier, as like normally I would have a diary on the boat and write everything down, days of fish, what gear I've pulled, and the app stores it all for me, makes it a bit easier, and it's less paperwork at the end of the week.
We were able to recruit a few fishermen who were really helpful, and their feedback has been essential in understanding what fishers want when they're submitting their FISH1 forms and wildlife observations.
The fisheries management for inshore boats is quite difficult because we're very small and we don't have a tremendous amount of money, and the boats themselves are physically quite tiny. So the traditional solutions of large bits of kit don't work for us. It's just not possible. The SIFIDS project, on the other hand, is looking at smaller, simpler bits of kit that do work for our industry. The reason why we as fishermen are very interested in this is because it actually gives us data and information about what we do, and it's provable.
I like most about the SIFIDS app is it's easier to log the data and also send it, and it's a handy thing to see where you're fishing as well when you look into that. It gives me a wee record of my data as well, where I've been.
Importantly, one of our fishers has an IT background. He's provided us with not only useful suggestions, but he's actually altered the code that we're now using in the app. And he's also made some suggestions about the way that we could use it in the future that would benefit the industry, not only just in terms of the areas in which we've spoken about, in terms of track, in terms of FISH1 form data collection and observations, but also how, for example, the app might be used in all sorts of downstream transactional processes with buyers, processors, looking at movement documents and export documents, for example.
Well, I think the advantage with this technology is because it's open source, we can modify it as we wish. So I would say, rather than my opinion, leave it to the industry. We'll come back with, can we do this, can we do that? At the moment, I can see that it's quite useful to us in that it helps us fill in our FISH1 forms, which is absolutely great. You've got apps for everything now. Why don't we have apps for what we do? And this, to me, seems to be the first one, and at least a good building block to start from. So I'm all for it. I think it's a good idea.